Get off that dislike button. I love the Quest 2, but should you really get the Quest 2? In this video, we'll go over 10 reasons why the console, previously known as the Oculus Quest 2, may not be right for you. Welcome to the Viverse and the VRC for a bit of virtual reality and sometimes some cool technology. Don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell if that's the kind of stuff you like. Before we get into it, I'd like to quickly thank the sponsors of this video, Kiwi Design, the kings of VR accessories for the Quest 2. Their headline acts are most definitely the amazing Kiwi Pro grips that protect and help you grip your controllers with a silicone sleeve, but offer the convenience of easy battery access, so you don't have to take it all off when you come to swap your batteries. They also make the super strong alternative to the official Elite strap. Seriously, their Elite strap is super comfortable and isn't going to break as easy as the one from Oculus. They also make a super comfortable facial interface and many other accessories for the Quest 2 and other VR headsets. Check them out with the link below and get there soon, because right now they're offering 30% off everything. Just super. So on to this video, and full disclosure, I do think the Quest 2 is great. It's my go-to games console and I use it all the time. Being able to watch movies in VR is fantastic, and the social multiplayer aspect is great too. Playing with people in VR is another level compared to standard multiplayer. However, for some people the Quest 2 just might not be for you, and here are a few possible reasons why. Number 1, IPD. IPD, or interpupillary distance, is the distance between your two pupils in your eyeballs. Unlike some other VR headsets that have IPD sliders that cover a long range, the Quest 2, in an effort to save money, has 3 preset IPD positions. They are 58mm, 63mm and 68mm. If your eyes are closer together than 58mm or further apart than 68mm, or an in-between number that doesn't fall perfectly on 63, then you might find the Quest 2 to be a bit blurry. There are ways to improve the experience, like the weird in-between IPD settings and using glasses spaces, but it still might not be perfect and cause playing games on the Quest 2 for long periods of time to be quite uncomfortable. By the way, I'm not going to try and fix any of the issues I mentioned in this video. I've talked about that many times before, and some issues just aren't fixable. Number 2 is the need for upgrades to improve the Quest 2. As mentioned above, Facebook or Meta wanted to produce the Quest 2 as cheaply as possible, whilst also keeping the tech inside as cutting edge as possible. Other areas where they skimped out on are the cheaper strap compared to the Quest 1 and the facial interface. In fact, although the Quest 2 may be sold at an amazing price point, to get it perfect for your everyday use, you do need to spend quite a bit more on it. For example, I couldn't fit my glasses into the stock interface and others got rashes from theirs, so we needed to spend up to $30 on a new facial interface. The strap is far from the best, so many people also needed to spend more money on a more comfortable strap, some spending over $100 for an official Oculus strap, which then often went on to break. The stock interface and the strap also aren't very sweat resistant, so if you do a lot of VR fitness, then you'll want to upgrade for that reason too. If you find your lenses are constantly fogging up, then you may have to spend more money on a heat-sucking fan or an interface with more vents. All these accessories certainly add up, so if you're hoping to spend $299 on the perfect headset, then the Quest 2 may not be for you. But if you do love accessories, well my friends, you are in the right place. Subscribe. Number 3 is if you've got a Quest 1 and you still love it. If you have a Quest 1 and are still loving it, you might want to hold off getting a Quest 2. The Quest 1 is an altogether more premium device than the Quest 2. It has a better strap, better interface, better IPD adjustment, and a couple of other things I'll mention later. So if you are loving your Quest 1 and see no reason to upgrade yet, then just stick with it. 4, you want a lot of games with a lot of depth. If you haven't got a Quest 1 or are thinking of getting a Quest 2, something that might put you off is the lack of long-form story games or multiplayer games with masses of depth. There are quite a lot of games with expansive story-driven content for PC VR headsets, but not so many for the Quest 2. There aren't any games with massive multiplayer scopes such as Rust, and your World of Warcraft style MMOs are very thin on the ground. There are a few MMOs on Quest like Orbis VR, but you might find them on the simple side. There also aren't many choices when it comes to driving and flight sims. There are many games and multiplayer experiences you can play for hours on end, and RPG games like Township Tale are beginning to appear. But if you're used to the breadth and depth of content from your PC, Xbox or PlayStation, you may be a little disappointed. Number 5, you're expecting graphics of PC VR or current generation consoles. Whilst the Quest 2 had a cutting-edge mobile chipset installed when it was released, it is still a mobile chipset. If you're hoping to see PC VR level graphics, or even graphics you're used to seeing on the latest consoles, but in the headset, then you're going to be disappointed. Apart from the fact that it is a mobile phone processor, VR requires massive resolutions in order to not be a blurry mess. The total resolution of a Quest 2 is 3664 by 1920, and compared to previous VR headsets, it is nice and sharp. But still, it doesn't look as sharp as a simple 1080p on your TV. That's the big issue that VR in general has to contend with. So as you can imagine, if a mobile phone processor is running games at nearly 4K, then sacrifices will have to be made elsewhere. Number 6, no room in your house. Rather than the Quest 2, this will be an issue for VR in general. However, if you have no room in your house, then there are many more PC VR games that don't require much limb movement. For example, driving and flight simulators, of which, as previously mentioned, are not numerous on the Quest. Usually though, space can be made to play VR using the Quest, and the Guardian system is excellent at making sure you don't hit things around you. However, if you simply have no room, then it's probably best to stay clear of the Quest. Number 7, the low field of view. Now, VR on the Quest is immersive, but something many people notice coming from other headsets, and also something that VR newbies note, is that the field of view in the Quest 2 is pretty low. Those new to VR often assume that it will be just like real life, with their entire vision filled with the virtual world. And those people used to other headsets simply note that it's a bit smaller on the Quest. So if seeing black edges is an issue, and in some cases for those with large IPDs seeing the edge of the LCD panel, then again you may not want to make the Quest 2 your next VR headset. And number 8 is that LCD panel. Unlike on the Valve Index or the Quest 1, the Quest 2 uses a single LCD panel, again to save money by decreasing the complexity of the device. This is part of the reason why its IPD adjustment works the way it does. The lenses move, and so does the image for each eye on the panel. Unfortunately, at its largest IPD setting, some of the image is lost to the edge of the LCD panel. Now, the image isn't lost forever. You can just turn your head and you'll be able to see it. But instead of image, you are seeing the edge of the LCD panel, thus decreasing the field of view even more. And this isn't even the only issue with this LCD panel in the Quest 2. By shining light through the display, the black levels are never truly black, more like a dark grey. Unlike OLED panels as seen in the Quest 1, where there is no light but each individual pixel can turn on and off. So when black scenes need to be rendered, the pixel can simply turn off and no light comes through, resulting in a much deeper, truer black. Now personally, I don't care that much about that and prefer the advantage of LCDs, which is the much sharper display at the same resolution of OLED. But for some, these grey blacks are a deal breaker, and if that's you, then it's goodbye Quest 2. 9. Your kids can't multiplayer. Last Christmas, someone asked me if it's worth getting a Quest 2 for their kids. I of course said yes, but then they asked, can they both play on it together? I don't want them to fight over it. And there is the problem with all VR headsets, not just the Quest 2. Local multiplayer is an issue. Now, it can be done. Some games allow a second person to play on a phone or on a PC. See, for example, Akron, Attack of the Squirrels, or Carly and the Reaper Man. However, in general, if your kids want to play at the same time and with each other, then not only will they need a second Quest, but in some cases they will need to buy the games twice. Oculus, Facebook, Meta did release app sharing this year, which allowed a second Quest to have a second account which could access most of the games of the main account, and which also allowed for multiplayer to work properly, but it doesn't work on all games, though it should work on all new games. And you still have to buy a second Quest to do it. And if that second Quest needs all the comfort accessories of the first Quest, then we're getting pretty expensive now. And number 10, and possibly the biggest deal breaker of all, is the Facebook Meta connection. Now, apologies to the Zuckerberg for using the name Meta. I know I should really be saying don't worry about Facebook. The Quest is now owned by the benevolent new company called Meta, who want to make the world a better place. But with a Quest 2 also comes the company with many names, and with it their frankly scary privacy policies, and right now the need to have a Facebook account. Let's address the latter first. Right now, if you want a Quest 2, then you also need to link it to a Facebook account. If that is an absolute no-no for you, then a Quest 2 is out of the question for now. I won't try to convince you it's okay. Check out my 2 videos, reasons to worry and reasons to not worry about Facebook. See the links below for a more in-depth analysis. But the company have now said that since Facebook will simply be the name of their social network and not the company, they will remove the requirement of Facebook accounts to use a Quest 2. So that's good news, but it hasn't happened yet. There is still the issue though of the fact that buying into the Meta ecosystem, you are allowing them to basically see everything you can see, to know all the things that you do in VR and all the things you look at. For example, any adverts you happen to see in VR, if you look at a certain type of ad longer than another, then they will start showing you more of that kind of advert. Now, at the moment, there aren't many adverts in VR, but it will be coming. It happens on your phones already by having Facebook on your phone. You do give them permission to access things that you type. Have you ever wondered why things that you Googled suddenly turn up as adverts on Facebook? And have you ever had things you've talked about show up as adverts too? Let us know in the comments if that's happened to you. So yeah, if that aspect of being part of the Meta ecosystem puts you off, then maybe a Quest 2 isn't for you. But I will say that they aren't the only company to be doing it, and unless you're living off the grid, then it's probably happening right now. But there are some people who don't mind unless it's Facebook, simply because they hate Facebook. And obviously if you hate Facebook, then you probably don't want a Quest 2. And that brings us to the end of 10 reasons not to get a Quest 2. Again, I can't stress enough that for me personally, I think now is a great time to buy a Quest 2, especially as there's not a new headset coming out from them for a while, and it's definitely a fantastic piece of gear to own. If you haven't tried VR before, then this is a very cool entry point. You don't need to worry about wires, you don't need a beefy PC, and man, it's so cheap for what it is. But at what cost? Let me know in the comments how wrong I am, and any other reasons you can think of why someone shouldn't or should buy a Quest 2. If you are here because you are thinking of getting a Quest 2 as your first headset but are unsure about VR in general, then be sure to check out my video on barriers to VR and how to solve them. And of course, feel free to ask for any tips in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video or found it helpful, then don't forget to hit the thumbs up button, and thank you so much for making it this far into the video. Feel free to join the Viverse and subscribe so you can keep up to date with the latest VR accessories and discussion. And don't forget there's always a VR giveaway going on, and they're always on my non-VR tech videos, so check out the latest one to find out what you can win. So thanks again for watching, take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you next time. See ya.